All right, let's dive right in. When we hear the word pilgrimage, we usually think of a physical trip, right? Packing bags, traveling somewhere far away. But what if it's more than that? What if a pilgrimage is actually a map, a roadmap for your soul? Today, that's exactly what we're exploring, an ancient path that charts the entire evolution of the human spirit. So I want you to really think about this question for a second. What if a journey to 6 ancient temples could actually map out your soul's evolution? The idea is that these sacred sites aren't just places you visit, they're milestones in a massive personal transformation. And this idea, it comes straight from ancient scriptures. And this leads us to a really powerful concept, the inner battlefield. The idea that the most important, the most challenging battles we'll ever fight, well, they aren't out there in the world. They're happening right inside our own minds. At the heart of this whole thing are the Arupadai Vidu, the 6 sacred abodes of Lord Murugan. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The scriptures don't just call them temples. They refer to them as divine war camps. That one little change in wording completely reframes their entire purpose, doesn't it? So if they're war camps, what's the battle against? Well, we're not talking about literal forces of darkness or mythical creatures here. The war is against our own inner enemies. You know them well. Ego, anger, fear, desire, confusion, jealousy, all those things we wrestle with every single day. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It distills the entire philosophy down to its core. True victory is not in defeating others, but in mastering oneself. The journey isn't about what you can conquer out there, it's about what you can master in here. Okay, so if this is a journey of self-mastery, what does the map actually look like? Well, the source material lays it all out as 6 distinct stages, or milestones. Each one represents a huge step in our own evolution. And here they are, the 6 abodes, laid out like a perfect roadmap for the soul. You start by finding peace. From there, you move to divine union, then gain supreme knowledge, receive grace, achieve victory over evil, and finally, you arrive at self-realization. Let's break down exactly what's happening at each of these stops. So, the journey kicks off at Thiratani, the abode of peace. And just think about the psychology of that for a moment. After you've fought that brutal inner war against your own ego and anger, what's the very first thing you need? Rest, calm, peace. That's stage 1. But here's the key. Peace isn't the finish line, it's the starting block. Because only from that place of inner calm can you move to stage 2, Thiruparangkandam, where you're finally ready for divine union and a life of purpose. Okay, next up, stages 3 and 4. At Swamimalai, the soul awakens to supreme knowledge. This is where you cut through all the confusion and ignorance. But here's a huge insight from this journey. Knowledge, all by itself, isn't enough. In fact, it can be dangerous. That's why the very next stop is Pajamadir Cholai, which teaches us that wisdom has to be balanced with humility. It's only when you're humble enough to admit what you don't know that you can truly open yourself up to receive divine grace. And now, we reach the climax of the journey. The 5th stop, Thirchendor, is all about victory, the triumph of light over darkness. It's where the soul gets the power to finally overcome all that negativity and those karmic hurdles. And that victory sets the stage for the final destination, Palani. This is it. This is where the ego is finally renounced, and you have that profound, mind-blowing realization that everything you were searching for on the outside was actually inside you the whole time. That is self-realization. Now, as if this roadmap for the soul wasn't amazing enough, the source material adds another fascinating layer. It actually connects this whole spiritual journey to ancient astrological principles. The idea is that our inner journey has a cosmic parallel. It's also about balancing planetary energies. You see, in this tradition, Lord Murugan is considered the one who controls the planets Mars and K2, 2 really powerful energies. Mars is all about action, energy, and sometimes conflict. K2 is about past karma and spiritual growth. So visiting specific temples is believed to actually remedy problems caused by these planets. For example, if you're dealing with Mars-related issues like anger, a visit to Thiruchendur or Thirutani is said to bring peace. And for K2's influence, like confusion or karmic blocks, Palania and Swamimalai can bring clarity and wisdom. So, after walking through these ancient sites and their deep, deep meanings, the message becomes crystal clear. This was never just about a physical trip to India. It's a blueprint for our own inner lives. And the best part? That journey can begin for you right here, right now. So let's just recap that roadmap one more time really quick. Peace comes from mastering yourself. Purpose can only come after you've found that peace. Knowledge is what gets rid of ignorance, but grace demands humility. Victory is your own light conquering your own darkness. And liberation, well, that's realizing the amazing truth of who you really are. And if there's one single image I want you to take away from all this, it's this one. Lord Murugan's spear, called the Vel, is more than a weapon. It's a symbol of divine knowledge itself. It's the one thing sharp enough to pierce right through the illusion of the ego and reveal the truth that's been hiding underneath all along. This entire journey, this incredible map for the soul, it all starts with a single step. And that brings us to the final question, a question just for you. As you look at your own inner battlefield, which enemy will you choose to face today?